going into these feats of just these feats of just amazing, oh, Lordy, I need more coffee. These amazing feats. I'm talking backwards again, so please forgive me, folks. We're continuing on with one Ted Breitenstein, and we're also the theme is firsts. Firsts. And fittingly, Ted Breitenstein, the 5'9", 167-pound lefty from St. Louis, Missouri, threw his first no-hitter in his first game. That's right. This hasn't happened very much, but Ted Breitenstein threw his first no-hitter in his first major league start on October the 4th, 1891, as a member of the St. Louis Browns when he no-hit the Louisville Cardinals, winning that contest 8-0. So, first game, that's just insane. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. I mean, that's just nuts. So, Breitenstein played 11 seasons in the majors, winning 160 games. So, he doesn't quite have these, insane Hall of Fame numbers, especially, for that time, the pitchers era, the dead ball era, winning 160 games. After his major league days, he pitched successfully in the minors all the way up until he was about 42 years old. Ted reached the big leagues with the aforementioned St. Louis Browns of the American Association in 1891. Facing the Louisville Cardinals on the season's final day, so he makes his first appearance on the final day. He makes his start and throws a no-hitter. Now, how is that for job stability? He goes out facing the Louisville Colonels. It throws a no-hitter. The Browns moved to the National League the following year, 1892, and he went on to struggle to a 9-19 mark. A 9-19 mark. So those are not very good numbers for any era, especially in that era, the pitching era, the dead ball era. The next season, he paced the National League, meaning he kept up with other pitchers in the National League by posting a 3.18 ERA, despite posting another unfavorable 19-24 record. He went on to lose over 20 games in each of the next 3 seasons, leading the National League with 30 big losses in 1895. So he comes out the gate just swinging. I mean, he comes out the gate like Mike Tyson, first round knockout, throws a no-hitter against the Louisville Colonels. I think I might have called them Cardinals. But the Louisville Colonels, he just comes out and just hits them right in the mush with a no-hitter. And then goes on to an okay career, a better career than mine because I never had one. So I'm not going to give him too much flack on all of that. After the 1896 season, Breitenstein was sold to the Reds of Cincinnati. He won 23 games in his first year with the team, so he's starting to turn it around in 1896. Facing the Pittsburgh Pirates on April the 22nd, 1898, he went on and threw the second no-hitter of his career, and he ended that year with 20 wins. After 4 summers in Cincinnati, he ended his big league career with the St. Louis Cardinals, that happening in 1901, the first year of the World Series. Actually, no, it's not. What am I talking about? I have these other notes in my peripheral. We're going to get to Don Larson here in a second, speaking of World Series. But although he is primarily a pitcher, like the other pitchers I've mentioned, Mullane and Joe Borden, et al., he played a lot of different positions. He played all over the field, playing, shortstop, first, second, everywhere. He appeared in the outfield each season, typically, with a peak of 16 appearances in 1895 in the outfield. He generally was not a strong hitter, except for one season in 1899 when he hit 352 and 105 at-bats. Other than that, he was kind of just a below-average hitter. After his major league years, Breitenstein pitched for 11 more seasons in the minors, mostly in the Southern Association, winning 165 games in that span. He won 21 games for the Memphis Egyptians in 1902 and pitched 8 seasons for the New Orleans Pelicans, one of my favorite early teams. Starting in 1904, he twice won 21 games for New Orleans and threw a no-hitter for them as well in 1909. It is said he was kicked by a horse. Now, this is baseball lore, ladies and gentlemen, so, the accuracy of this information may not be the best in the world, but baseball lore says he was kicked by a horse and the injury caused him to miss the first part of the 1907 season. Other sources say it was he was sick with syphilis or a number of things, but the prevailing story is he was kicked by a horse. Kicking the old horse there, buddy. So following his playing days, Breitenstein umpired in the minors in the Southern Association and in the Texas League. He later engaged in some business in his hometown of St. Louis and worked for the city parks department. Now, why is it important to talk about Ted Breitenstein? Well, he came out the gates throwing his first major league no-hitter in his first game. That's just nuts. That is just absolutely, absolutely nuts to come out and throw a no-hitter in your first game. Now, some other firsts as we peruse the archives. Bill Hawk on 1816. That's funny. That's way too early. Bill Hawk threw the first no-hitter at the modern pitching distance in August 16th of 1893 as a member of the Baltimore Orioles against the Washington Senators, in which they defeated them. The Orioles defeated the Senators 5-0. He was a 169-pound righty from Delaware, and there's not a whole lot out there on Bill Hawk other than this no-hitter from the modern distance. He did pitch 200 innings in 2 seasons, 1893 and 1894. So William Victor Hawk, credited as the first pitcher in professional baseball to throw a no-hitter from the modern distance. Now, on to other firsts. Other firsts. We go down the list of firsts, and we end up frozen in the archives. I need a little sound bit for that. A no-hitter in extra innings, 9 innings plus, by Sam Kimber, October 4th, 1884, with the Brooklyn Atlantics against the Toledo Blue Stockings. That game ended 0-0. Exciting! A 0-0 tie. Sam Kimber, nor the other pitcher could get it done. Sam Kimber was a rookie at the age of 31 in 1884 when he went 18-20 for the Brooklyn Athletics, and then pitched in only one more game after that. A notable performance, and this is a little bit more than notable. An amazing performance was when he pitched an 11-inning no-hitter in a tie game on October the 4th of 1884. Now that's crazy. A no-hit tie. How disappointing. But he gets credited for the no-hitter. Now, speaking of just amazingly crazy no-hitters, they've often been combined with these baseball superstitions. Some common superstitions include purposely stepping on a bag, in between innings, or avoiding the foul line, jumping over the foul line, or not talking about a no-hitter or perfect game while it is in progress. Not so much for Don Larson, as Don Larson tells us in his own words about what was going through his mind and the mind of his fellow teammates during that no-hitter he pitched in the World Series. So let's hear from the words of Don Larson.
I knew I had a no-hitter. Every pitcher knows, you expect to hit. I never knew it was a perfect game until after the game was over. I mentioned it to Mantle after the 7th inning. I sort of punched him out having a cigarette in the dugout, and I said, look, wouldn't it be something, 2 more innings to go. And, of course, it got very quiet in the dugout, and I'm not used to that. I don't believe in jinxes. It was uncomfortable to me, except when I was out, pitching. It was just unusual and, a nice circumstance, because the 5th game, we needed that game, more or less, because we still had to go to Brooklyn, to play 2 more games, and God knows what's going to happen. But we left, from here over there with the edge at least.
So everyone knows Don Larson for, not just pitching the perfect game in Game 5 of the 1956 World Series. I mean, they know him, for being just an outstanding pitcher in Major League Baseball. He pitched for 15 seasons for 7 different teams, pitching for the St. Louis Browns and Baltimore Orioles, the 53, 54, and then in 65 in Baltimore. Of course, the Yankees from 55 to 59, the Kansas City Athletics from 60 to 61, the Chicago White Sox in 61, the San Francisco Giants in 62 and 64, from 62 to 64, the Houston Colt 45s / Houston Astros from 64 to 65, and finally, lastly, with the Chicago Cubs in 1967. Larson pitched the 6th perfect game in Major League Baseball history. So while this is not a first, you just can't have a show called WHIP Weekly that talks about no-hitters that doesn't talk about Don Larson, or at least briefly. The first, though, now here's the catch right here. Here's why we can justify talking about Don Larson on this show of firsts. His no-hitter is currently the only no-hitter or perfect game in World Series history, and is only one of the 2 no-hitters in Major League Baseball's postseason history. He won the World Series' most valuable player, of course, and the Babe Ruth Award in recognition of his 1956 postseason. Now, a little bit about the man, not the ball player, but Don Larson himself. He was born in Indiana, Michigan City, where his family moved to San Diego in 1994, and of course I'm talking about Larson's birth of August 7th, 1929 in Indiana. His family moved to San Diego in 1944, where his mother became a housekeeper and his father a department store salesman. Larson attended Point Loma High School, where he played basketball and baseball, and was selected for the All-Metro Conference team as a basketball player, and was offered several college scholarships to play basketball, but baseball was his calling. Larson played for the local American Legion team and caught the attention of the St. Louis Browns, a scout by the name of Art Schwartz. Schwartz, after seeing Larson, signed him to a contract to play for the Browns in the minor leagues. This is in 1947, with Larson receiving a whopping $850 signing bonus. That translates to about $9,000 in current figures. Larson, on why he signed with the Browns over going to college to play not baseball, but basketball, said he was never much with the studies. So the prospect of having to study kept him from becoming a baseball star at college and possibly a career in professional baseball. So a little bit about his minor league baseball and, of course, his military career. Larson started his career with the Aberdeen Pheasants of the Class C Northern League back in 47, appearing in 16 games. He had a 4-3 record with a 3.42 ERA. And then in the next season with the Pheasants, he won 17 games and posted a 3.75 ERA in 34 games. So improvements certainly had Major League Baseball looking a little closer at this guy. Larson started the 49 season pitching for the Globe Miami Browns of Class C. That's over in the old Arizona-Texas League before he moved up in the hierarchy to the Springfield Browns. and the Wichita Falls Spudders, one of my favorite nicknames in baseball, one of my favorite team names, rather, the Spudders of the Class B Big State League.